And that's one of the things about religion that we have to remember when we're talking about that makes it such a hot topic issue is because we're talking about law. Who gets to be God? Who gets to be God's deputies? Who is the Most High? Who is the divine authority? It's all about the claim to the Most High. The only way that somebody can be higher than us is if we give away our power. Because there's nobody, we're all equal. But we're not equal in our knowledge, so ultimately I think it does have to be a hierarchy, but it has to be a cooperative hierarchy like a bee colony. It's about what our value system is, what we care about.
Hello, Hive Mind. Today is May 24th, 2020. I am your host, Nate Cap. Welcome to the 7th Cubbywhole Podcast, where important topics are unveiled, discussed, and tested. Our website is cubbywhole.com. That's cubbywhole.com. Today, my beautiful mother, Indica Martin, aka Indy, is joining us, and she's a student of natural law, hermeticism, and recently she published her first children's art book called Give to Nature, and Nature Will Give to You. A book filled with beautiful illustrations of valuable principles that seem to be much needed in today's world. I am very fortunate to be this woman's son, and she is definitely a very hard worker as a mother, a wife, and a grandmother. Welcome to the show, Mom.
Nathan, the pleasure's all mine to be talking to you today, and thank you so much for having me on your show and for your kind words as well.
Awesome. So, first off, about your book, why did you decide to create this awesome book, and what inspired you?
Well, we as adults are responsible for what our children learn and absorb, and what goes into their hearts and what transpires in their thought presses, right? And maybe when they read this book or have it read to them, they will feel a natural, loving connection with this loving force that actually cares about them.
Right.
As a matter of fact, this force cares so deeply that we are all here right now on this planet to know this truth. Now, all humans have this choice to learn this truth or not to learn. And this choice is to show we care back enough to learn these inherent laws of nature and teach it to our young at a very, very young age. Otherwise, there will be a process called indoctrination. And when indoctrination happens to us when we are from the ages of 2 to 8 years old, everything a child sees, which is an example, TV interactions they see with maybe adults near them or what they hear with their ears. And again, we're talking about TV and how people talk around them, the interactions that they hear with the adults, and most of all, how they see the adults behaving around them. And even more importantly, when the adults are saying or teaching to young people to show them, and they need to set that example of being an honest, caring person. And my parents put me in front of a TV to keep me occupied for most of my very young life. It was a great babysitter, and my mother was too distracted to teach me anything. It was my best friend, and I looked forward so much to spending time with this friend while my parents were trying to pay bills and keep food on the table to keep us to stay alive. We had to keep living. How we spend our time and what we decide to put our attention to will reflect back to us by nature's law of correspondence, which is as above, so below, which is one of the many life lessons that are discussed in this children's book.
Wow, that's really cool that you care that much that that you see that, and that you saw an opportunity to, be able to reach the children, and do it in a way that is digestible for them, and it's digestible for their parents. And it's a very, very beautiful book.
Thank you.
So to get this book made, you successfully raised funds on Kickstarter. How did it feel when you knew this project was going to, go to the printers?
Well, I felt an extreme amount of joy, and it was as though a very large weight had been lifted off of my chest and I could breathe. I really wanted this done a lot sooner, but when you're working 50 hours a week, it takes total love and dedication to work on a project that was constantly needing updates and changes. And it took 4 years to create this book, working with the illustrator, Aaron Philby, who did all the artwork exactly as I explained it to him, and he did an outstanding job.
He
And
did.
he
Definitely.
really did. I couldn't have asked for anyone better because he had no ego, and he did exactly what I wanted without trying to change it.
Yeah.
Of course, Nate Cap, you, as my trusted right-hand creative consultant, working with me on the direction and vision of this project. By the way, you gave me the guidance I was so needing and did a fantastic job. And I definitely couldn't have moved forward with this project without your direction, Nathan. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure working with you, and I definitely don't think I would have. I mean, obviously you're my mom, and I would have tried to help you with any project that you would need help with, especially in the artistic direction. But because this was something for the children that I know is very beneficial and doesn't have any kind of religious context to it, I was very happy to help you with that. And it was such a journey, and it was really cool to see you grow as someone who had an idea and then manifested that to happen. You made it happen, and you did a really good job, and I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's this like you said, it's a journey, and hopefully we're just trying to progress into different levels of understanding and awareness. And of course, there also was my graphic artist, Jessica Rohr. She also had an extreme artistic talent that kept me in line without trying to change anything as well. And she was very good at enhancing what I wanted to create. So once we had it all created, it was as if my creator and I had this in mind a very, very long time ago for me to work on. And once I allowed and asked from the universe this to happen, I received it right in front of my eyes. It was very surreal experience for me that I could actually be me, my authentic self, and create something that would hopefully help young and older people see life from a different, more natural perspective.
Yeah, speaking of Jessica, she did a fantastic job at making the layout of your book. And
yes, she did.
If she ever gets to listen to this, I just want her to know you definitely have an eye for design, and I wish you all the best, because I know you're young and you were just doing this as a side project, but it's one of the greatest side projects that anybody's ever done.
Oh,
because
wow,
it's,
thank you.
because
Jeez.
it's, well, it's I'm speaking more to her, but yes. I mean, the fact that you found her at the time that you did, I think that it really, just goes to show you that when you do give to nature, it really does give back to you. And
absolutely.
And that's basically my next question is, for people that don't understand your cover name, give to nature and nature will give to you. I'd like you to, just give us a little bit of a definition or a breakdown of what you mean by that.
Sure. Give to nature and nature will give to you simply means And I think the nature's law of correspondence describes it in a very simple statement. Everything in nature is like a mirror or a reflection of what is going on inside of us. And that is nature's law of correspondence. And what I wanted to do is, and I needed to give back, and I wanted to kind of show how this nature's law of correspondence actually worked. And how it is how I'm behaving or how I'm treating people or how I'm giving back, I will receive that back to my life. In my heart, I wanted young people to learn about these 7 principles in nature a lot sooner than I did, which was in my 40s. These 7 principles of nature are mentalism, and then there's correspondence. Number 3 is vibration. Number 4 is rhythm. 5 is polarity. 6 is cause and effect, and 7 is gender. And what's most important is that we have to care about these principles with the utmost importance every day in life. And that's where my journey took me. And these principles are working whether I know it or not, whether I want them or not. And these are all working simultaneously every second of the day because it is the pure and simple truth in nature. So I wanted to give to nature so everyone could experience nature and hopefully understand the importance of nature.
Very well said. Yeah, it's something, if anybody was listening to, I believe it was podcast 6, I interviewed Leah McCormick, and she gets into her hermetically sealed, and she, I look at what she is doing as something that you're doing, only I think, she's reaching more of the younger millennials. And I think that, it's really awesome to see women, especially women in my personal life, who are caring enough to put these principles out there, because these principles really are about finding balance. And I know most of us definitely are looking for balance in our life. And we're trying to make sense of things in a natural way. And these principles are definitely, presented to us to help us understand our life around us and to put things into perspective in a way that's very balanced. So it's really awesome that you are trying to reach children, and that's basically, what my next question was going to be. But before I say that, again, like I said last week, or the last episode, we're going to definitely be breaking down the Hermetic principles in depth in a future show. So definitely stay tuned for that. So why do you believe the information in your book is so important, so valuable for the children?
Great question. My inspiration came from the Creator. And I asked and I received. But this is how it actually worked. And I'll just tell you a story. I had no idea I was going to write this book, but I always knew I wanted to do something that would be good for kids because they're innocent. One summer day, my husband Douglas said to me, I would love to see you use your imagination to create something that would benefit the species. And he went inside and I stayed outside, and I went to my lawn chair and I was thinking, how could I possibly create something that would help the species? Me? Could I do that? And if so, how could I do it? Because I really was taken over by that statement. And I sat there and I asked my higher power, what do I want more than anything in the whole world? And for whatever reason, I closed my eyes and I kept asking over and over and over for about 60 seconds. But I didn't let any other thoughts come into my mind to distract me. And after about a minute, it was like a lightning bolt struck me. And I could only describe it as an eye-awakening spiritual feeling that came over me. And I ran into the house, and I knew right then. I told my husband, I got the answer. What I'm going to do. And he said, well, what is it? And I said, I'm going to write a children's book about nature's laws. So children will have a much sooner start to understanding how our life corresponds to how the earth works, and have it a lot sooner than I did, which was much later in life.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you saying that there was something that Manly Palmer Hall said in his speech that also inspired you too, because he said something about making a children's book, right?
Yes, yes. And that was after I had already decided that I was going to move forward with this project. But when I heard it, it confirmed that I was on the path.
Wow, that's really synchronistic. That's really
Yes,
cool.
yes,
That's awesome.
yes.
Because I wasn't sure if it was that and then you just took off with that, or it was or both.
No.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the greatest work out there is Manly Palmer Hall. Definitely check out his work if you haven't already.
Totally agree.
So, where can people buy your book, or where can they find information about your book?
You can go onto my website, which is www.givetonaturebbook.com, and buy it right there. This book actually has 57 pages of amazing artwork, like we just discussed, and life lessons that can easily be understood no matter what age you are. And you can go onto Amazon and purchase it. And thank you all for your reviews if you get it off of Amazon too. And now you will be able to purchase the digital version.
That's cool.
And actually it's going to be in English, Spanish, Italian, and French. And there'll be other languages as well added very soon. And so that's where anybody can go on and purchase it.
Awesome. If you're someone who wants to make a better world, what is it that you really want to do? Do you want to make the change in yourself? Do you want to help others see that there's something more beautiful here than politics and religion? And a lot of people don't understand where to look for the truth. A lot of people don't understand how to figure out what is good and what is not good. And I will say this: anytime that you're looking for something good, it usually comes with any action that does not cause harm to anybody else. And therefore, whenever you are investing into, a children's book like Give to Nature and Nature Will Give to You, what you're doing is you're putting energy out there to not only strengthen who you are as a person, but also to help the young who don't know any better. And most people can agree that going to public schools, you're not really going to be taught any kind of valuable information that is going to help you prevent doing harm to yourself or doing harm to others. So this book is definitely something very important. It's one of the greatest investments you could make, especially for a kid.
Well, thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm really hoping that, and I'm already inspired by what you've done with this, and what I'm hoping it does is inspire other parents and other younger people to make something of the same valuable, or if not more, to reach the young, because the young are not reached with enough information that is beneficial to change the world for the better.
Right.
And I am beyond thankful for you for doing this. I'm thankful for you to come on this show. I think that, you're a really brave soul for putting this type of information out there. And I think it's really cool that you found someone who's also one of my best friends, Aaron Philby, for helping you put this book together with really amazing art. Because, and that's the other thing, art is definitely very important to reach the young. So you're definitely a very powerful person for doing what you've done, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you. I was taught at a very young age that I was powerless. And if there's one thing that I've learned is that we are all very powerful beings of nature. And the goal is to understand that at a very deep level so you have no fear and you listen to your intuition and you're able to, move forward. And I know that whatever road my creator has for me will, assist me with number one, the love of nature, number two, the love of truth, and number three, the love of knowledge. And whatever happens with this can only be positive energy and vibration. And this, in turn, will assist the aggregate, which my hope is that it will tip the scales towards understanding the 7 natural laws of nature on Earth and in the universe to a higher awareness and freedom to be the creative forces of nature that we are. And we are all powerful in nature.
Definitely. Well said. Well, did you want to say anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I just, my goal was to come on today, and I appreciate the time that you've taken, that you've been working so hard on getting this information out. And my goal is to work with the forces of nature, and wherever it takes me is going to be that journey of the soul. And I'm looking forward to it. And it's great to be with you today, Nathan.
Yeah, thank you. And something else I noticed that's really cool and synchronistic, and something I'm going to get into deeply on this show, is this is podcast number 7. That's really a very powerful thing, and I am really excited that it is with you, that I get to do this. So
it's wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, well, this is all the time we have today, guys. So we hope this show has been valuable, and you can find more shows, news, videos at Cubbywhole.com. That's Cubbywhole.com. Thank you, and have a great day.